So leveling up the battle pass in MW2 and Warzone can be a really long and boring journey, but in this video I'm going to show you how to make it as quick and as easy as possible for the 5th season of MW2 and Warzone. Now this video provides you every single way to level up your tiers faster and basically earn those battle pass tokens faster in season 5 of MW2 and Warzone, so be sure to stay tuned until the end of the video as it is packed full of tips. But if you do want to jump to a specific part, there will be timestamps in the description. So what we're going to do is we're going to first talk about the best ways to level up the battle pass and earn those tokens in MW2, then talk about Warzone Battle Royale, and then talk about DMZ. And then we'll finally talk about the best modes overall. So starting off with MW2 and starting off with multiplayer, what can we do to increase our earn rate? Well, a really important thing for all modes, not just multiplayer but other modes too, is the time played. So obviously you want to spend longer in the matches as it's more efficient because you're spending therefore less time in the lobbies and more time actually playing the game, because that's what actually counts for earning battle pass tokens, and you get more progress every time you're in the game, whereas when you're not actually in the game, so if you're loading in and out of lobbies and stuff, that won't count. So generally you want game modes like domination, hardpoint, ground war, invasions, those kinds of longer modes. But as well as having longer matches, you want to be earning more XP in the match. So now let's look at what we can do to actually increase our XP rate in multiplayer alongside having, longer matches. We'll then talk about some tips for doing well and then move on to the other modes. So I would say, as I'm sure you guys will know, the best mode generally in the game is something like Shoot House or Shipment. They're generally the best modes, and just before the start of season 5 there's actually been a hardcore version of Shipment, which is a very nice playlist. I have a feeling it will go for at least a little while, if not longer, so unfortunately it probably won't be around when season 5 comes out. So instead, the best modes when season 5 will come out will be the Punta and Strike, which are the two new 6v6 season 5 multiplayer maps. I think one of them is a remake from COD 4, but they both look okay. They're not going to be the best maps, but they are two kind of new mosh pits which people will be hopping onto. If those are rubbish, there'll be another close quarters combat mode hopefully, or if not, Shipment or Shoot House or something like that. But ideally you want to either play Shipment or Shoot House if it's around, if not, whatever other close quarters, busy mode is available that you can jump into, whatever mosh pit's around. Now, if there are still no good 24/7 matches, then just play longer games with, objectives and high XP. So ones like domination, hardpoint, ground war, those kinds of modes. And you want to ideally try and see if you can play hardcore, for example, like we say hardcore Shipment, but quite a lot of the time that won't be possible, and therefore now there's a few other things you can do actually. So you can actually change your class to have more XP as well. So what can you actually do to your class to increase the battle pass token earn rate and therefore complete the battle pass faster? Well, first of all, you want to equip decoy grenades and use them every time you spawn in, because if an enemy nearby to it dies, you get XP and an assist, and this can give you several thousand XP at the end of the game just by using them. So really good bonus to your XP. Also using lethal, so Semtex, a thermite, C4, whatever you want to use, that's really good too. Make sure you're using the field upgrade. I think something like a portable radar, smoke airdrop, suppression mine, or perhaps DDoS, something like that is good. So whatever you guys want to use just to get a bit of XP. And ideally you want to toggle kill streaks to score streaks, so basically use score streaks instead of kill streaks. And I would recommend something like a UAV, then a counter UAV, and then something else like a cruise missile or sentry or SAE or VTOL, whatever you guys want as a third one. If you're even better, perhaps an advanced UAV, just something like that, just because the score streaks will either get you more kills or help you get more kills, whether that's through like radar or through other means. It will help you in the game to get more kills. So that's the first two main things. Make sure you're playing the good mode and make sure you've got your class set up. The other thing you want to do is just be taking advantage of the other ways to get XP in multiplayer. So obviously make sure you've got a good class, and if you need to level up weapons fast to get better attachments, then check out my weapon XP guide for season 5. It's very useful, so check that out in order to level up your weapons. So make sure you've got a good class so you're getting more kills, so you're not dying with a rubbish weapon or with a rubbish set of attachments. The other thing I would say is make sure you're aware of the kill streaks, equipment and field upgrades. And what I mean by this is make sure that you're using your own kill streaks, equipment and field upgrades. So use all of those to, get more XP and kills and so on, but also make sure you're aware of enemy kill streaks, enemy equipment and enemy field upgrades, because if you are looking out for all of those, you can destroy them, and if you destroy them, you'll get more XP as well, and it's a nice bonus. Also make sure you go for the objective as much as you can, like really push for the objective. If it's domination, go for the dom flags. If it's kill confirmed, go for that. If it's grind, then pick up the tags and bank them. Whatever the objective is, just go for it as much as you can, because that's one of the best ways to get XP in multiplayer. So make sure you're doing that, and obviously get as many kills as possible, but you guys know that already, so it's kind of pointless saying that. The other thing to make sure, because I think people sometimes forget about this, that you're doing is multiplayer challenges. So make sure you're doing the daily challenges. You get 3 a day plus a bonus one if you do that, and that will give you quite a lot of XP. Also make sure you're doing camo challenges, so the polyatomic and Orion camos. If you guys need help with that, I've got a playlist for gold gun guides and so on, so feel free to check that out. And also make sure you're doing the calling card and seasonal challenges, so you get new ones with every season. season, so there'll be new ones for season 5. Make sure you guys are doing those, as that will also get you more XP as well. And then finally, make sure for the challenge perspective that you're actually overlapping all those challenges together, because it will help you get it done faster. What do I mean by that? Well, basically in multiplayer, let's just say the daily challenge says that you need to get, 10 kills with an assault rifle or something like that. And let's say the camo challenge, you need to get, one of the camos done for your assault rifle. And let's say the calling card said, get 100 or like 1,000 kills with an assault rifle or something like that. You could overlap all those 3 challenges and make sure you use a specific assault rifle to get your camo challenges done, to get the daily challenge, and to get the calling card / seasonal challenge. So make sure you're overlapping all those challenges to get them done a lot more efficiently, and therefore boost the amount of XP you get. And the more you overlap, the quicker you get XP. So doing all those things together in multiplayer is going to give you a ton of XP, and it's going to be very, very useful for leveling up the battle pass and earn those tokens fast. The next thing I want to very quickly talk about is co-op. So it's not like a massive thing, and I'm sure not a lot of people are playing it, but ones like Defender Mount Zion, Low Profile, High Ground, those kind of ones are good. I think there's also Defender, Hafid Port as well. But the battle pass earn rate is variable. It takes about 30 to 40 minutes for a tier. So what I would say is basically try to complete the match as quickly as possible if you're playing co-op, so that the XP earned, which is roughly a set amount, is higher per minute played, and therefore you're not wasting as much time. So basically try and work with teammates, resupply ammo regularly, pick up good floor loot, buy kill streaks, buy reinforcement troops and armor boxes and other types of equipment and things from the shop to help you. Take cover when you need, go for the objective, and make sure, so for example in Defender Mount Zion, make sure you're defending each zone as best you can and wipe out enemies quickly to prevent getting overrun, that kind of thing. So that's it for co-op and basically for multiplayer. Now let's talk about Warzone Battle Royale and DMZ. So for Warzone, I'm sure a lot of you guys know, but in case you don't, there's a glitch that started in like season 2 and it's still here in season 5, where basically if you go AFK, you can earn 2 to 4 battle pass tokens per hour with 0 effort. So basically it's a way to just go AFK and get tokens. So if that sounds up your street and you can't be bothered to grind in the game, then check out my separate guide for this. I'll have that linked via the card on screen or a link for that in the description. So feel free to check that out if you guys want. But if you guys want to actually play the game and know how best to play it, then obviously that's what this video is for. So similar to multiplayer, the most important things are your time played and XP earned. So make sure you're playing longer matches so it's more efficient. So it's better to go in longer matches than shorter ones. So make sure you're surviving longer and going into longer matches, and make sure you're getting a decent amount of XP too. So quite a few ways you can do that in Warzone, which is obviously different to multiplayer. So the first thing is make sure you've got a good class. Again, if you need to get attachments, then check out my weapon XP guide. Make sure you're doing more looting in general, so opening with lots of loot crates. More money will help you to buy more equipment, such as self-revives, UAV, armor, that kind of thing. But also it gives you more XP overall, which is good. And also opening the loot boxes, running over bodies of dead enemies, finding piles of cash as floor loot, such as in rooftops, unsearched rooms, that kind of thing. That's all ways that you can do more looting. Make sure you're getting obviously more kills, so make sure you've got a good class, using your minimap, heartbeat sensor, compass or whatever, or listening out for sounds to find more enemies. And one of the main things is just making sure you're doing more contracts. Safecracker and Intel and those kind of ones are the best. There was Most Wanted, but I believe it's not going to be around unfortunately at the moment. And just try and go between these fast with a helicopter. Also make sure you're making use of strongholds, which are areas with lots of AI, which can be tougher, but you get more XP and you get your loot and other rewards as well. So make sure you're taking advantage of those if you can. Try and survive longer and be careful, so don't run and gun. Play it a little bit safer, otherwise you're likely to die, and therefore you get a poorer amount of tier progression and you finish the match sooner. And the last thing is the placement bonus. So make sure whatever the mode is, you're tailoring your strategy to that. So if it's Battle Royale, make sure you're living longer. If it's Plunder, collect more cash, that kind of thing. Don't forget as well, the pre-game lobby will get you kills, which will count towards XP and weapon XP, so make sure you're taking advantage of that too. So that's kind of my overall thing for Warzone. But actually, what is the best strategy and what modes should you guys be playing? Well, the map Vondel, which came in season 4, that has kind of a resurgence limited time mode called Lockdown. It was around a lot in season 4, they liked it, so I imagine it will probably come back in season 5. So if it is, that's quite a good one. It's similar to Hardpoint, where you've got a bunch of zones, and the other one is Plunder. So for Vondel Lockdown, in case that is around, it's a mode with a bunch of different zones. The zones will go on and offline. When they're offline, it will count down until when it's next online. When they're online, they're around for about 2 minutes or so. Basically, you get about 30 XP every few seconds if you yourself is capturing it, but for every other teammate you get bonus XP, such as for each additional teammate you get plus 20 XP, and if it's 2 teammates it's plus 40 XP and so on. So it quickly adds up and you get lots of XP every few seconds. So basically keep trying to capture the zones as much as you can. There'll be higher value zones and lower value zones, so try and go for the higher value ones as long as there's not loads of people around them. Sometimes there will be, in which case just go for one that's right for you. Always try to drop in somewhere that's not super busy, because otherwise you're likely to die. Just drop in somewhere that's a little bit less busy, where you can probably probably get a few kills, but it's not super busy that you're going to die. And basically just keep capturing the zones over and over again, get kills when you can. So that's it for Vondel Lockdown. What about Plunder? I think Plunder in general is probably going to be better, and it's going to be more reliable, and it's probably going to be around more. So let's talk about that now. So as I'm sure you guys know, it's great for overall kind of easy XP, and it's a really fast way of leveling up tiers. I would say about 15 to 20 minutes of a Plunder game can give you one whole tier of progress if you place well and play effectively. So that's like 3 to 4 plus tiers per hour. So let's talk about how to actually go about doing well in Plunder, because it's not as straightforward as you might think. So obviously the first thing is make sure your squad fill is actually turned on this time, just so that you have got other teammates helping you for this, because you are going to need your friends. If you find it annoying, you keep dying, you get pulled all over the map and you don't like it, obviously you can turn squad fill off, but I'd recommend actually having it on for this. So what you want to do is spawn in and quickly find an area of the map with a few players but lots of buildings and places to search for loot crates, and your ultimate goal is obviously to get like first place by earning as much money as you can. Run around opening as many loot crates by following the faint humming noise, which indicates how close you are to them and where they are on the map, and obviously adjust your sound settings if necessary to find them. And you just want to keep moving to stay ahead and open as many crates as you can. If you find a cash deposit balloon, try and use it so you don't lose the money if you die. There's also other ways to do it. You can insure your money and things like that, more fancy things in Warzone 2. So make sure you're doing that to kind of keep hold of more money. Obviously you can deposit it at other money sites too. And also keep an eye out for cash piles on the ground in unsearched areas, you know, rooftops, unvisited rooms, that kind of thing. Look for money near dead players and kill as many enemies as possible that you come across to get more cash and more XP. Do a few contracts if you can along the way while opening loot crates. So for example, the safecracker contracts require you to open 3 safes, and it shows you where they are. They'll often have money in them. You have to obviously put some C4 on it, detonate it, which can cause you damage if you're nearby, but try and step a little bit further back to avoid taking damage. Open the safe, get whatever you need out of it. It will give you loot, or it'll give you money or whatever, and that's often quite good. And obviously you'll get money and XP as well for actually doing the contract. Now most wanted contracts are particularly good if you're well equipped and fairly safe. So they're currently not in the game, but if most wanted come back, they're really, really good. And basically you can reduce the time with most wanted by opening more supply boxes and, you know, loot crates just to run down the time. Get your teammates to do the same thing. Every one you open gives you 10 seconds off the time. You've got to survive for 3 to 4 minutes. You get 10 seconds off every time you open a box, so it runs it down really quickly. It may not come back into the game for a while because it was a bit bugged where it was giving lots of XP accidentally. The other ones are intel. They're really, really good. So obviously you have to upload intel at an upload point and you just have to stay with it. It's very, very easy. It gets you lots of XP as well. So safecracker and intel are really, really good, and make sure you're doing as many contracts as you can. And just basically what you want to do overall is collect as much money as you can. So spawn in somewhere that's a little bit less active, a little bit more quiet, open a bunch of loot boxes, literally just keep opening as much as you can because you want to get more money and keep that money on you. Hopefully your teammates will do the same, and you want to place as high as you can in the match. So if you come, you know, 10th, 5th, first place, whatever, the higher you place, the more, you know, XP you get overall. And obviously the main objective is money, so just keep opening as many boxes as you can. I think it's a very easy way to do it, whereas otherwise people struggle when they try and do other things and it's not as good. Just keep opening loot boxes, do a few contracts. Perhaps your teammates can focus more on money while you do contracts, and then vice versa, or whatever. It all helps to boost it in the end. Work with your teammates as much as you can, and the higher you place, like I say, the more XP you get. There's a load of bonuses, so just make sure, you know, doing everything, you know, reviving players, looting more, you know, doing more contracts, all that kind of stuff will get you more XP overall. And make sure for Warzone Battle Royale that you're doing challenges. So that's your daily challenges, your camo challenges, and your calling card / seasonal challenges. Make sure you're doing all of those and make sure you're overlapping them, like I said before, to, you know, do it as efficiently as possible and get more XP. There'll also be other events in Season 5, so there's going to be like the other events like Fort, Resurgence, Armored Royale. That will probably be quite good later on in the season. And there's also going to be the Call of Duty 2023 event, which I'm sure will have, you know, a cool themed event going on in Warzone, and it'll probably also have some decent XP as well. So make sure you're doing all those things when they come out, so keep an eye out for those. But now this is currently the best thing to do for Warzone Battle Royale. And yeah, that's pretty much it for BR. And now if you guys want to play DMZ, that's absolutely fine. Let's now talk about the best way to earn those Battle Pass tokens fast in DMZ. So obviously this is more of a realism mode, so if you bring weapons in that are contraband and you die and you don't exfil, you'll lose those weapons. But if you have an insured weapon, you know, you'll be able to keep that with you. If you lose it in the game, it will return after a little while. Bear in mind that in MW2 and Warzone, longer matches means less time not in the game and it's more efficient. So you basically want to survive as long as possible in DMZ. So try and stick out for almost the full match. Play with other teammates, ideally friends you can communicate with. Don't run a gun or you may die easily from AI or other, you know, enemy operators. You you want to make sure you're kind of unlocking all the other upgrades, which is kind of a new thing to Season 4. So make sure you've got a wallet so you've got more cash. Make sure you're unlocking the second and third insured weapon slots. And if you guys need help with that, I've got a guide, so feel free to check it out via the card on screen or link in the description. Make sure you guys are doing the kind of urgent daily missions in DMZ. That's another good thing, and it's kind of a new thing from Season 4. So basically, if you do certain challenges, you can unlock missions for each faction, and it will give you, like, as well as the main faction missions you need to do that are like the same for everyone, it will give you daily ones. So for example, like extract 4 enemy operators weapons or something like that, and basically you just go in, do that, and it gives you kind of XP, which is great, so you can do that as well, and that will also help you to get more reputation points for the factions. So it's useful for multiple reasons. Make sure you're doing all your faction missions. I've got guides for some of those, so feel free to check them out if you need. I've got a DMZ guides playlist, so feel free to check it out. Do all those things, you know, faction missions, urgent missions, all that stuff. And also the other thing is, for DMZ there's a bunch of stuff that's kind of new. So we've got like the disguise field upgrade type thing, so it hides you from other AI. That's really good. That can help you to survive longer, so make sure if you find that or get that, you pick that up. You've got battle revive, you've got the revive boxes, so basically you can deploy, if you find that, you can deploy a box with a bunch of self revives, kind of like armor boxes or ammo boxes, but with self revive kits. So really useful. Try and get those, try and get your hands on those if you can. And there'll be new faction missions for Season 5, which is good, so obviously make sure you're doing that. But the other thing is, and this is the main thing for DMZ, is make sure you're trying to do all the things to boost the amount of XP you get. So at the end of the game, it will break down what it gives you XP for. It's a bunch of things. So the first thing is players revived, so make sure if any of your teammates go down, you're ideally not too far away from them so you can revive them. That's good, and it gives you XP both for reviving the player, and it gives you a bonus at the end, you know, for doing those different things. Then you get XP for opening supply drop, and I mean the actual supply drops that come from the sky. So you can either, you know, capture a SAM turret that will shoot down a plane with supply drops in it, and you can go and capture it, or throughout the match there'll be supply drops that drop to the ground and you can just go and find them. It will say supply drop incoming, you can go and capture them. It's like a crate with red smoke coming off it, so you'll know it's really easy to see. And yeah, basically just open those. They've got good loot, sometimes like gold skulls or weapons, whatever you guys want, cash, kill streaks, that kind of thing, and also it gives you XP as well, so that's a bonus. Make sure you're also getting as many AI kills as you can, so obviously just look out for enemy AI, you know, UAVs, and there's little UAVs that enemies drop, that kind of thing. Make sure you guys are opening loot containers, so like basically like loot boxes. Make sure you're opening every time you see one of those, but not just loot boxes, also other things like bags, rucksacks, satchels, all these different things, crates, they'll all count as well. So make sure you're opening all of those to kind of loot stuff, which gives you more stuff to help you survive longer and do better and, you know, get more money, but also you get a bonus just for opening them, which is good. Points of interest on the map too, so make sure you're visiting as many of them as you can. Try and go around in a vehicle. The more you do, the more XP you get. I think you get 250 XP for each region you visit, and there's loads of regions, so just keep going around. It won't take long at all. You'll do more stuff that way, but also you're getting a bonus just for visiting different areas, which is good because you're kind of moving around the map more. Also doing side missions, so things like capturing UAV towers or SAM turret, you know, missile sites. Those will again get you more enemies, but they'll also get you XP in the process, and you'll get a bonus for doing it. So there's lots of reasons for doing it. And finally, make sure you're exfilling towards the end of the game. Try and go somewhere that's less busy, you know, ideally as close to you as you can, you know, the exfil point. But if it looks like it might be busy or there's enemies there, the worst thing you want is to turn up to an exfil point and find that enemies are there and they're just gonna like kill you instantly, and then you've kind of like wasted the game, you lose your loadout, that kind of thing. So just try and go somewhere that's a little bit more safe, but ideally as close to you as you can. And, you know, if you exfil successfully, you'll keep your weapons, you'll, you know, bring the cash with you and all that stuff, but also you'll get more XP because you've survived, which is really good. Pair all those things together and you're going to do really well on DMZ. So basically go in, try and increase all of those bonuses, make sure you're doing your faction missions, that's really important, and urgent daily missions, that kind of thing. Play with teammates and you'll be good to go. Obviously more cash is great too, and any kind of valuable items as well. So that's it for DMZ. I now just wanted to quickly talk about what kind of modes are best overall. Obviously it depends on how well you do in each mode. Longer matches are generally always better than shorter ones, as long as you're getting a decent amount of XP. I would say generally for Modern Warfare 2, you know, kind of shoot house or shipment, you know, those kind of close quarters map mosh pits are best. For Warzone, I would say, you know, BR and DMZ are very good. If it's Battle Royale, ideally you want to be playing Plunder and, you know, doing the thing with the money, like I said, although it can be variable. Sometimes you do better in games than other times, but if you're good in DMZ and you keep doing stuff, that's a great way to earn Battle Pass tokens. So I'd say if you can play, DMZ is great. I would say generally Warzone seems to be better than Modern Warfare 2, and I think the reason for that is because if you guys are a premium game owner, so basically if you have Modern Warfare 2 and you're playing Warzone, because you own Modern Warfare 2, you get a bonus amount of XP and weapon XP, but that's only if you stay to the end of the match. So if you've got Modern Warfare 2, you get a bonus, so stay to the end of the match, and obviously you get more XP for playing with teammates and stuff as well if you're on PlayStation, so which is good. So if you do those things, Battle Royale and DMZ are definitely better than Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer, even if it's like shipment, but I would say Battle Royale, like Plunder, seems more of a grind and it can be more variable. So I think DMZ is very consistent as long as you can do well each game. If not, Battle Royale and specifically Plunder is probably the best, and if not, Modern Warfare 2, ideally a close quarters mode like Shipment or Shoothouse. I hope you guys found this useful. If you did, be sure to leave a like so that other people can find this video too. Check out my other Season 5 guides like leveling up weapons, AFK Battle Pass token glitch, unlocking other weapons like the M13B and all these other weapons. Feel free to check it out. And if you like what you see, make sure to subscribe by clicking the bell icon to turn on post notifications and stay up to date with all my latest Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone videos. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys found it useful, and I'll see you guys all on the next one.